Here's the thing, I have seen a lot of tutorials on Midjourney and they are pretty decent, but some of them are damn good as well. But I have spent the last 10 months obsessing over Midjourney and I have written over 10,000 prompts on Midjourney. And I've even made a card game as well using Midjourney. Hey folks, my name is Abhinav and I am a founding team member at 100x. I have been a product designer from last 2 years. I have designed multiple products, websites, games, and unfortunately wedding invitations as well. Last company that I worked for, Avalon Scenes, recently got acquired by Unacademy, and since then I have been exploring and hacking around AI tools. And in this video, I've compiled all my knowledge, all my learnings, and all my secrets that I have gained over the last 10 months after writing 10,000 prompts on Midjourney. I will give you the only crash course that you need on Midjourney. We'll start right from the basics of how to get started as a complete noob and how to become a full-on pro at it. If you're already confident about the basics of Midjourney, you can skip the intro parts, but if you're a beginner in Midjourney, you should follow along. And towards the end of the video, I'll also talk about how you as a designer can use Midjourney for multiple use cases. We start from an easy level where we build our basic prompt. Then we head to a medium level where we explore a bunch of parameters and variables. And then we head to hard level where we explore technical concepts. I would highly recommend that you should open your browser and follow along. Alright, let's get into it. We are gonna explore this tool using some really fun themes like India in 2080s or Will Smith doing puja for Ganesh Chaturthi and many more like these. Folks, if you want to keep watching more videos on your timeline, hit that subscribe button and pat yourself on the back for the amazing person that you are. Alright, let's get into it. What is Midjourney? Midjourney is a text-based AI art generator. Your job is to merely pass it a text and describe what kind of image you are thinking of, and Midjourney will create it for you. Since Midjourney is a closed tech, our best guess is it uses clip and diffusion model to generate images for us. The best part about Midjourney is that it's being retrained on all the outputs all around the world and new data by David and team. So let's get into the versions and history of models of Midjourney. In this section, we won't spend a lot of time, but it's very interesting to see that how Midjourney was in 2022 and where Midjourney stands in 2023, right? So I'll quickly walk you through all the Midjourney models and let's go. So the first version of Midjourney came out in February 2022. The first version, I believe, was just a trailer of what text to images can do, right? In version 2, the characters, if you see, became more realistic. In this, we are taking characters as a reference. In version 3, the model was a significant big step up. The lighting and the shadows, if you see, are greatly improved. And it seemed like Midjourney could handle real illustration tasks for the first time ever. Midjourney 4 changed everything. When it was released, it was the highest model out there. If you see the outputs, they are so good, right? And if you see the V5, the realism, the photorealism has significantly improved. And the current version is version 5.2, which has pushed the aesthetics even farther. Character-wise, the designs are more cohesive while having better facial details. So let's see how to use Midjourney. First of all, you'll need Discord. You go to this website called discord.com, download for your PC or your Mac and make an account. Next, once your Discord is installed, you head over to this plus icon and you create your own server. My server's name is Design Lab, right? So once you have created the server, you click on this drop down and go to app directory. Here you search for an app called Midjourney, click on enter. And this is where you click on the bot, the first one, and click on add to server. It will ask you for some permissions and click on continue, click on authorize. It's asking me that if I'm a human or not. Okay, I'm a human. So boom, Midjourney server bot is inside your server. But before we get into usage of it, so Midjourney recently made a change where it discontinued its free plan tier. So to use Midjourney, you have to subscribe to a plan. How do you do that? So Midjourney works with slash commands, right? So you press slash and you write subscribe. When you click on enter, it will give you a link. When you click on the link, you'll be able to choose a plan, right? And once you select a plan, make the payment, your subscription will be active and you'll be able to create your own images. Let's quickly go through over all the plans, right? So Midjourney gives monthly and yearly billing both. They have 4 plans: basic plan, standard plan, pro plan, mega plan. The major difference in all these plans is the number of generations you can make. If you just want to experiment, if you just want to play, you can start with the basic plan. But if you have more needs and you want to use it for your agency or for your personal thing, then you can choose standard plan. And if you're a big enterprise or organization, you can choose a pro plan or a mega plan. We at 100x use a standard plan, and which is more than sufficient for whatever needs that we have, right? So once you're subscribed, we'll come back to the channel. We'll come back to the Discord server. So how do we start now? So /imagine, right? The Midjourney purpose is that you imagine whatever you want to create and Midjourney will give it for you. So that's why you write /imagine, press a space. This is where, if you see, you can add in your prompt. Since I said earlier in the video that we'll be focused on 4 major themes. So for the first theme we'll be doing is Puja/Ganesh Chaturthi. Since festive season is around the corner, I really wanted to do this, right? So the first prompt will be, let's use Will Smith in this context. Will Smith. Here in this prompt, I'm just blabbering whatever comes to my mind, right? Will Smith doing puja for Ganesh Chaturthi. Let's see what Midjourney gives. Damn, look at the generations. This actually looks like as if Will Smith came to Mumbai to celebrate Ganesh Chaturthi. Pretty cool, right? So next I'm going to show you some basic settings, right? And then we'll jump right into the prompting part, right? So to access settings of Midjourney, you press the / command and you write settings. Now, if you see, there are a bunch of settings, right? In this drop down, you'll be able to change the model. If you really want to experiment, you can try generating images with model V1 and also use model 5.2, which is the latest model. If you see, there's a bunch of buttons here, right? There's a raw mode, stylize low, stylize medium, stylize high, stylize very high. So in raw mode, you can generate images using much shorter prompts and they would appear to be more natural rather than refined, right? So if you see stylize determines how strongly the training is applied on the images. Stylize low means that it will be lowly styled, and very high that it will be highly styled compared to the training data, right? Then if the public mode is on, all the images that you generate will be stored in the Midjourney community showcase, which I'll show you in the later part of the video. Remix mode. When the remix mode is on, it lets you change the prompt and the model version after you have generated the image. High variation and low variation mode. High variation, basically all the 4 images in the grid have a higher variation among them, and low variation means that all the images have lower variation among them. Turbo mode, fast mode and relax mode. These are basically the speeds of generating an image. In turbo mode, it will be super duper fast. Fast is, as the name suggests, is pretty fast, and relax mode is a normal relax mode, right? Where the images will be generated little bit on the slower side. And if you really change some settings and want to go to the default settings, you can always click the reset settings button. Okay, now let's get into prompting. We'll cover advanced concepts, everything while prompting, and there are 3 levels that we'll be covering: easy, medium and hard. But before we get into the prompting, let's understand how Midjourney understands prompts. So Midjourney basically breaks down all the words and phrases that you define into a thing called tokens. Now tokens are compared to the training data that the Midjourney model has been trained on, and then it is used to generate an image. A well-structured prompt is an ideal way to get a better output, right? Let's explore the easy level first. In this level, we'll just talk about basic prompt. Now you would ask, what's a basic prompt? A basic prompt can be pretty much anything. It can be a sentence, it can be a phrase, it can be a word, it can be a letter, or even it can be an emoji. I usually recommend starting with a very simple prompt so that you can see how Midjourney interprets your concept. A simple prompt can be anything, as I said, it can be a phrase, a word, a letter, or an emoji. The fewer words you include, the more influence they have on your image. Also, while generating the image, you don't need to add explicit instructions like make me an image or generate me an image. Midjourney is smart enough to understand that you are generating an image. Instead, you directly get to the point and describe Midjourney what you want. So let's deep dive and start playing with Midjourney, right? Let's imagine what we can do. So futuristic auto rickshaws flying in the sky of old Mumbai. This is actually just a basic prompt. I haven't added any variables or anything. This is just me blabbering whatever idea that I have, right? Flying in the sky of old Mumbai, made by Mercedes Benz, right? So what will essentially happen is the model will grab each token that we have written, that is futuristic, auto rickshaw, flying, sky, old Mumbai, Mercedes Benz, and compares them to the training data to generate the desired image. Now let's see what Midjourney has in store for us. Damn, this looks so cool. Would you like to sit in this kind of an auto? Tell us in the comments, right? So now Midjourney has given us the image. It's a grid of 4 images, right? So this doesn't follow a clockwise or an anti-clockwise pattern. The sequencing of the image follows a Z pattern, right? So this image, if you see, is image number 1. This is image number 2. This is image number 3. And this is image number 4. Disclaimer, these images are low resolution right now. So now you will ask, how do I upscale these images, right? If you see these buttons, the U1, U2, U3 and U4 are the buttons to upscale the image that you like, right? So this button that you see is to regenerate the image, right? So if you click on this, you can make all the changes that you want and click on submit, and Midjourney will regenerate the image for you. Now, what are the V1, V2, V3 and V4? So these are called variations, right? So suppose I like this image, but I want more variations of this, right? So when I click on V1, Midjourney will use this image as a base image and generate ideas around it. Let's try and generate a scaled version of the first image. You just need to click on U1 and Midjourney will automatically start upscaling. In the end of the video, I'll show you one more resource which can help you scale images to a much larger size. So this is an upscaled image. Let's try variations as well. What happens if you click on variation? If I click on V1, it will ask me for the prompt that, okay, this is the variation, but suppose say I wanna, instead of Mercedes Benz, I wanna write Tesla. So it will use that image as the base image, but make changes to the new prompt that I wanted to have, right? So see these outputs. These outputs used that image as a base image and generated auto rickshaws by Tesla. This actually looks pretty dope, but it looks like a military ship. Okay, never mind, right? So now once you scale an image, you would see more buttons, right? So what these 3 buttons on the top do: very strong, very subtle and very region. Let's get into it. The first row of buttons allows you to regenerate new options that can vary subtly or strongly from the base image, right? And then there is a third option, which is vary region, basically where you can select a particular region in the image and write a prompt to change that particular portion of that image. It's an easy way to brainstorm and change what you don't like, right? So now let's try with very strong. Let's see what Midjourney gives. That's it. I will also try very subtle. That's it. And let's see what Midjourney has in store for us. Now, if you see, these are pretty strong variations of the image that we had initially. Like this was a car, this was an auto rickshaw, some buildings, right? Now, if you see this image, if you see the auto rickshaws, they are significantly varied. And in the subtle variation, there are some slight differences in the same rickshaw as well, right? Now let's try the most recent release of Midjourney, that is Vary Region. So when you click on this button, Midjourney opens up an editor. In this editor, now I need to select an area. Suppose I want to replace these carts with supercars. So what I'll do is I'll select these 2 cars, basically select 2 regions which I want to replace. I'll write vintage supercars. You can even use a lasso tool where you can make some random shapes and choose an area, right? Or you can even use rectangle tool to choose an area. Now you just need to click this arrow button and boom, let's wait for Midjourney to do its magic. Now if you see, I have my vintage cars instead of those carts. This third image looks so cool, actually so cool, right? So this is the power of Vary Region, and you can change anything, anywhere. You just need to select it and prompt it, right? So let's go to the last row of buttons, right? So the last row of buttons lets you expand your image as implied by the buttons left, right, up and down, It generates more of the scene in a specific direction. It's the same way panning your camera would do it in a real world, right? So suppose I want to extend this image towards the left. I just click on left button and I just click on left arrow and it will generate or extend my image towards the left side of the image. Pretty interesting. Midjourney has given me the left side of the image as well. Isn't it cool? Isn't that cool? Right? These were the middle row of the buttons. Now these were the last row of the buttons. If you see this heart icon, this is basically to favorite an image which you can access from your favorites on the Midjourney web dashboard. This is a web button. This will basically open your image in web, right? And yeah, let's try and generate some more examples to show you the whole process, right? Suppose I wanna generate something around Indian farmers. So I'll start with a basic idea, right? I want to see what Midjourney thinks of Indian farmers. This basically is an overview of how I make prompts, right? Okay, this is how Midjourney thinks of an Indian farmer, right? Now I want to add some cool parts to it, right? I would do Indian farmer using futuristic drone to do farming. India in 2080s. Damn, these drones look so cool, right? So I had a basic idea of Indian farmers and then I built according whatever I imagined, right? Let's do one or two more, right? So I'll click on imagine and suppose you all love pani puri, right? What if in 2080s a robot was serving you pani puris? Let's imagine it with Midjourney, right? I like futuristic robot vendor serving pani puri in Indian street to a crowd. So this is what I imagined. I click on enter and let's see what Midjourney is creating for us. Damn, this is so cool. This is robot actually serving pani puris. Damn, this is so cool, man. Bro, would you eat pani puri from a robot vendor?
Depends. I mean, if he doesn't rub his fingers on his pants, I would still eat it from the robot.
Damn. Okay. Let's see one or two more, right? You all have seen cool images of all the trains and all metros and all in different cities. What if India also had those, right? So I'll try one more prompt. Imagine futuristic Indian metro in Delhi. Let's see what futuristic Indian metro in Delhi gives. Actually, you know what? This is showing inside of a metro. This is cool, but I want to see an aerial shot, right? Let's do aerial shot of futuristic India metro in Delhi. Damn, these trains look so cool, man. Like, I would want to travel in these capsule kind of futuristic trains, right? This actually feels like a metro in Gurgaon, bro. Right? Right. Let's try some more examples and then we'll switch to the medium part of prompting where we can do more cool stuff, right? All of you must have seen Virat Kohli in Manyavar ads. What if Manyavar signed Tom Cruise and Taylor Swift? Let's see how does that look like. Imagine Tom Cruise in Manyavar ethnic clothes. Oh, my Tom Cruise is here, bro. Damn, bro. Manyavar, I think you should really sign Tom Cruise for your ethnic clothes. These look so cool on him. Okay, let me try Taylor Swift as well. All the Swifties, Taylor Swift in Manyavar ethnic wedding clothes. Probably Alia Bhatt took inspiration from this, I think. Bro, Taylor Swift, man. See, come on, you guys should also see what Midjourney is generating. Damn. Sid, does it actually look like Taylor Swift in Manyavar wedding wear?
It actually does, yeah. It actually does.
Damn.
Pretty much Taylor Swift.
Crazy. I also want to do Shah Rukh Khan doing something. I really like Shah Rukh Khan, right? So Arnold was the OG Terminator. And what if Shah Rukh Khan was the lead for Terminator? Let's see what Midjourney thinks. Imagine Indian Bollywood actor Shah Rukh Khan as Terminator. Yo, Shah Rukh Khan looks so dope in Terminator, bro. The fourth one actually looks more or less like him, as if Shah Rukh. It's a weird combo of Shah Rukh and Dawn versus Terminator. But this is actually very cool, right? So, if I have to sum it up, while building a prompt, this is what you need to do. You should start with a basic idea. Ideally, start very simple. Build on top of it by slowly adding new variables and detailing your prompt. Third, you should try to avoid ambiguity, right? If you be more specific, Midjourney will give you better results. That's it from easy level. Let's go on to medium level. So now we have a basic prompt ready. How do we move ahead with the prompts? We use something called as advanced variables. Advanced variables are keywords that give a user more control over the composition of the image and how the image should feel or look like, right? So Nick, he's an amazing prompter. He has shared a list of different variables that can be added to a prompt to make the image look like what you want, right? So these variables essentially elaborate the composition details, utilize different parameters / keywords to gain more control over the image. So after we have built the basic prompt, let's now understand what are the different kind of variables that are there, right? So first variable is artistic style, or artistic or a general style, right? It can be a Studio Ghibli style, it can be some retro style, it can be punk style, right? Or it can be a editorial style as well, right? Editorial basically is what if Vogue clicked that picture. After general style, the second variable is called composition. Composition is how should the image look like. Is it a wide shot? Is it a wide shot composition? Is it a full body shot composition? Or is it a close-up shot? Is it an aerial shot? Is it a bird eye shot? So how does the image look? That basically explains the composition. Next is medium. Medium is basically how the image is made. Is it a sketch? Right? Is it a film still? Like, is it a shot from a film? Is it a screen grab, basically like a screenshot? Or is it just a normal photo, or it can be a sculpture as well, right? So this is what defines medium. Next variable is camera. So camera, basically you can specify what kind of camera has clicked that particular picture. You remember those Fujifilm retro cameras with that all Fujifilm negative retro vibe? You can even define that in the prompt, and Midjourney will use it to create your image, right? So in this camera, you can even define the lens type, like you want a 24mm, 70mm lens. You can even define the focus, apertures, and bokeh effect, all of that. Next variable is essentially subject description, which we covered in the basic prompt, that you have to be very specific, basically what you need from the image. After you have defined the subject, like how should it look like, what it should wear, the clothes, details, the facial expressions, all of that, basically then you define another variable called environment. What is the subject doing? When you're adding the environment variable, you basically add where is the subject, right? What's the location of the subject? So suppose Abhinav, me, is swimming underwater. So underwater is the environment. Basically, it can be Shah Rukh Khan in war zone, right? So Midjourney understands that variable as environment. Next variable is lighting, where we talk about okay, that the lighting should be a natural lighting, it should be a studio lighting, it should be a dramatic lighting, or it should be a natural daylight, or it should be a night light. So you can add different lighting. Then you need to add atmosphere. Atmosphere, should it be thunderstormy, should it be stormy, normal sunlightish, or foggy, right? And then you define the mood. Should it feel luxurious? Should it feel more romantic, or should it feel more dreamy? So this is a basic overview of different kind of variables that we can add to a particular prompt. Now what we'll do is we'll pick one variable each and go through each of them using our different prompts and see what kind of results a small change in a particular style or a keyword gives to a base prompt, right? So let's deep dive. And by the way, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe this video. And if you don't know what variables to use or what different kind of art styles I have a resource by the end of this level, which will make your life super easy. So stick around. Let's start with the general style. So you remember we created Tom Cruise in Manyavar ethnic clothes, right? Let's see what happens if this Tom Cruise character was made by Pixar. So now let's see what Pixar style has in store for us. Pixar cartoon style. And here in the prompt, we'll add a comma to basically say that, okay, Pixar cartoon style is one keyword for Midjourney to understand, and Tom Cruise is one, Manyavar ethnic clothes is one, right? So we separate ideally different words, phrases using comma. Damn, these actually look as if Pixar made Tom Cruise for Manyavar ad. Interesting, right? Let's do one more thing. Instead of Pixar cartoon style, let's do editorial style. So this basically, what if Vogue or some Times magazine who must have clicked this shot, this would feel like that. So let's see what editorial style gives, right? So this is what editorial style, you see saw the change, right? Like this was Pixar cartoon style and this is the editorial style. Let's try one more, okay? Let's try imagine 1990s punk style. This is like the proper pop punks era. Let's see what would Amitabh Bachchan look like in 1990s punk clothes, right? So Indian actor Amitabh Bachchan burning cigar in between his lips, holding a lighter in baggy punk attire with gold jewelry, right? So this I've defined like the base prompt, right? And we can add an environment as well, that in Mumbai street, right? So this is basically Indian actor Amitabh Bachchan burning cigar. This is all the base prompt, and then the variable that I've added is it should feel like a 1990s punk style image. Let's see what Midjourney gives us. And this is how, this doesn't look like that close to Amitabh Bachchan, but this is how the street 1990s punk style photo would look like. Let's see what if we can do some anime style as well, right? What if Shah Rukh Khan was in One Piece as Monkey D. Luffy? Let's figure out the artistic style and see what Midjourney has to give. So we'll write One Piece anime style. I wanted an anime. Indian actor Shah Rukh Khan as Monkey D. Luffy in One Piece anime, right? I'll click on enter and let's see what Midjourney has to give. So till now we have explored the punk style, the editorial style, the Pixar cartoon style. So you must be able to see all the different variations that different styles can have over the image, right? Now would you ask that does structuring of the keywords in the prompt matter? In general, Midjourney tends to place more importance on things which are towards the left, that is more earlier in the prompt, because Midjourney works in a descending manner. But the variables, these are a very rough skeleton that you can use and not use. These are like toggle on and off. You can choose to use some, choose not to use some. You just have to mess around and experiment to see what variables generate what in which position and what place, right? So the recommended way is that you mess around and try and experiment with as many variables, with their positioning, with their details as possible to get the best output that you want. So this is kind of like One Piece style, but what if Shah Rukh Khan wasn't there? This actually looks very funny and weird. But yeah, this was all about artistic or general styles. So now, since we're done with the general style, let's explore the second variable, which is called composition. Composition essentially tells that should the image be wide shot, full body shot, close-up shot, aerial shot, drone shot, right? All of that comes under composition. So remember we generated Indian farmers using drone. Let's do editorial style ultra wide drone shot of Indian farmer. So what basically we have added a general style here, that is the artistic style should be editorial style and the shot should be an ultra wide drone shot, right? Let's see what Midjourney gives. Now if you see the fourth image, this is like the ultra wide drone shot of farmer doing farmers using drones, right? So similarly, let's try something else. So instead of ultra wide drone shot, let's use the same example and use a extreme low angle shot. So let's see what Midjourney has to give us. Dang, this is so cool. Like, this is actually a low to top shot. Like suppose this one, right? Which is showing a farmer doing a bunch of cool stuff with drones. So this was composition. Now let's try on Tom Cruise itself, right? So editorial style, Tom Cruise in Manyavar ethnic clothes. I want a full body shot, right? So we like editorial full body shot of Tom Cruise in Manyavar ethnic clothes. Let's see what Midjourney has to give. Now, if you see, Midjourney has given a kind of a full body shot, but do you know why the feet of Tom Cruise are missing? It's because the ratio right now of the image is 1:1, right? So to include those feet as well, we'll have to increase the aspect ratio of the image, right? So aspect ratio for that, we'll be exploring in the hard level of this tutorial, right? But you get the thing, right? Like to add composition, you just need to add what kind of shot you want for your particular image. Now, let's move on to the third parameter or third variable, which is called medium, right? So you remember we created the futuristic Delhi metro. Let's see what would a Delhi metro look like if an architect sketched the futuristic metro, right? So let's write the prompt. The prompt previously was aerial shot of futuristic Indian metro in Delhi. Let's add a keyword saying concept art line sketch. So this basically defines the medium that, okay, this is the medium I want this particular shot in, right? Let's try another medium, which is like watercolor painting style. Let's try another style where we basically say that, okay, oil painting style. Let's see what concept line art sketch will give us. And then we'll compare all the three to see the different mediums the same image has been created in. And let's try one more thing for a very real reference, that is film screen grab of. Basically what it will feel like a screenshot from a film movie, right? So these three are generated. Let's see what film screen grab has to give. This, if you see, actually looks like a pencil drawing, right? And let's see the watercolor. This actually feels like some painter has actually watercolored the whole scene. And if you want to see oil painting, this is what oil painting looks like. This actually looks like a anime, right? And if you want to see a film screen grab, this is how an actual shot from the film screen grab looks like. So this is how the medium keyword affects the same prompt in different aspects, right? So this was all about medium. Medium basically how your image was made, what it should look like. Now let's explore another variable, that is film type / camera. We'll be using Will Smith's image again. So let's try it out. So we'll be right. Will Smith doing puja for Ganesh Chaturthi. Let's try out our camera. So for this particular thing, we'll be trying out the camera called Kodak Vision 200T, which has a negative film. And yeah, let's see what Midjourney has to give us. Similarly, let's use the same prompt and let me add other cameras as well. So Canon EOS 5D Mark IV is a pretty solid camera. Let's see what it gives as well. And then we'll compare all the different images. Next, instead of this, I'll be using a Kodak Ultra f935mm film camera. And let's try one more. So I'm generating all the prompts with different camera styles. Okay. Now, if you see this image, this was a base prompt, that is Will Smith doing puja for Ganesh Chaturthi, and we added like Kodak Vision 200T color negative film. And if you see, there is a very oldish, retroish look in this particular photo, right? Here we added a Canon EOS 5D Mark IV. This gives a very sharp professional detail of the images that we have Midjourney generated. Here we tried a Kodak Ultra f935mm camera. Similarly, it gives that retro, see this image like a very retroish film aesthetic, right? Similarly, shot on Fujifilm Pro 400H, this gives a very highly detailed vibe, right? Here we defined this camera to be a Kodak Portra bokeh mode, and this is where, if you see, the background has slight blurs as well, right? So this is how different camera styles and film type works, right? So let's move on to the next variable, which is subject description and styling. Subject description and styling is basically the basic prompt that we created, but you need to be more specific as possible. So suppose in this particular Amitabh Bachchan prompt, we specified that Amitabh Bachchan burning cigar in between his lips, holding a lighter in a baggy punk attire, right? With gold jewelry. Right now, if you see, Midjourney has generated those punk outfits, baggy stuff, and the cigarettes, right? So this is how you need to be very specific with what you want from the subject, right? Next, we'll be defining the environment, like where should the image be in. So for the sake of reference, we'll be using the same Amitabh Bachchan prompt and be like punk style, extreme high angle photo of Amitabh Bachchan burning cigarette. This in Mumbai street. Let's do in a gold souk in Dubai, skyscrapers, and yes. So this is where we have defined the environment, right? Also, let's try one more example where we'll use this particular same prompt and be like gold jewelry in a fantasy colorful land, say Toy Story. And let's try one more. The same thing, Amitabh Bachchan in a war zone, in a dramatic war zone, right? So if you see this is same Amitabh Bachchan in his punk style, but now in Dubai, in that street gold souk aesthetic, right? The skyscrapers are there and he feels to be on a souk, right? Similarly, if you see this is where he's in a colorful fantasy land wearing different clothes, right? So this is how environment or the environment variable affects. Like this feels like he's in a war zone sort of a thing, right? So this is how you can play with the environment, keeping the subject, defining the subject and choosing the environment around it. Similarly, let's try it with another environment. Like what if instead of Arnold in Terminator, Shah Rukh Khan acted as Terminator, right? So let's ask Midjourney to do that. Indian Bollywood actor Shah Rukh Khan as Terminator in a war zone, right? Let's see what Midjourney gives. So here we just defined the environment. Okay, this is the base prompt and now this particular thing is the environment. Now if you see this actually looks like Shah Rukh Khan fighting in a war zone with all those guns and all, right? So this is super cool. This is actually super cool. Now this is what the environment effects look like. Now let's talk about another variable called lighting. Lighting is basically how the lights affect the image, right? Should it be a studio lighting? Should it be cinematic? Should it be a natural lighting, right? Let's try the same prompt but with different kind of lighting. We'll be like cinematic lighting. Let's try another example where we'll, instead of cinematic lighting, we'll choose it to be studio lighting, as if he was in a studio, right? And now let's try one more example where we do a neon lighting, neon blue red lighting. And let's try a side lighting. Now let's explore different lighting. So this, if you see, is a cinematic lighting, right? Like it actually feels that, okay, fully color graded cinematic effect. This actually feels that the actor is in some studio lighting, right? And if you see this, where we define blue, red, neon lighting, now he's in a war zone. This second picture actually looks super real, right? He's in a war zone with all those neon, blue, red lighting, right? So this is how lighting plays a part, and this is where we have defined the side lighting, right? Where only lighting comes from one side, right? So this is how lighting plays an effect on the image, right? Now let's explore another variable called atmosphere, right? How does atmosphere affect the whole mood? So we'll use this only, right? We like imagine the same prompt and be like, now the atmosphere can be sunny day, sunny atmosphere, daylight, right? So now this will use daylight as a lighting and the atmosphere would be sunny. Now the atmosphere is rainy and the vibe or the light should be very cinematic. Now if you see, this is actually looks like a daylight scene, right? See this image, second image, this actually looks like he's fighting someone in the morning, right? Now let's see this one, how does the rainy looks come? Now this image, if you see, has that full rainy atmosphere, right? So this is how the atmosphere variable plays its part, right? So we define that it should be rainy and cinematic, and if you see there are subtle rains, his clothes are wet and his hair also feel very rainy. So this is what the power of keywords is when you're using Midjourney, right? So that's with atmosphere. Now let's try mood. How should the mood of the image be, right? So Now let's do one thing. In this same mood, let's explore a very romantic mood of the Tom Cruise image that we generated. So in this prompt, we added editorial style, 35 still. So we have defined the style, we have defined the film type and it's a 35 still in the lens and the film type. The base prompt Tom Cruise in this. Misty is basically the atmosphere, and Blossom Core Classicism Dreamwave Romance is the mood. Let's see what Midjourney has to give. So right now, we are saying that, okay, Tom Cruise is in garden. So we have defined the subject and the environment as well. So now, if you see how romantic scape Midjourney has created. Like, he's wearing all those ethnic clothes, misty environment, but has that romantic, dreamy look, right? So this is what was all about mood. Now we'll cover one parameter which basically affects how the image is being rendered, right? We like imagine the same prompt and be like, now the atmosphere can be sunny atmosphere, daylight, right? So now this will use daylight as a lighting and the atmosphere would be sunny. Now the atmosphere is rainy and the vibe or the light should be very cinematic. Now if you see, this is actually looks like a daylight scene, right? See this image, second image. This actually looks like he's fighting someone in the morning, right? Now let's see this one. How does the rainy looks come? Now this image, if you see, has that full rainy atmosphere, right? So this is how the atmosphere variable plays its part, right? So we define that it should be rainy and cinematic. And if you see, there are subtle rains, his clothes are wet and his hair also feel very rainy. So this is what the power of keywords is when you're using Midjourney, right? So that's with atmosphere. Now let's try mood. How should the mood of the image be, right? So now let's do one thing. In this same mood, let's explore a very romantic mood of the Tom Cruise image that we generated. So in this prompt, we added editorial style, 35 still. So we have defined the style, we have defined the film type and it's a 35 still in the lens and the film type. The base prompt Tom Cruise in this. Misty is basically the atmosphere and Blossom Core Classicism Dreamwave Romance is the mood. Let's see what Midjourney has to give. So right now, we are saying that, okay, Tom Cruise is in garden. So we have defined the subject and the environment as well. So now, if you see how romantic scape Midjourney has created, like he's wearing all those ethnic clothes, misty environment, but has that romantic, dreamy look, right? So this is what was all about mood. Now we'll cover one parameter which basically affects how the image is being rendered, right? So we'll use the same thing, and in imagine we'll add photorealistic. What this will do is it will give a very photorealistic render to the image that we generate, right? Let's see what it gives. You all must have heard of Octane renders and Unreal Engine renders, right? So these are different type of renders, ways how images are generated, right? So we'll use the same image prompt and add 4K, 8K Unreal Engine. That is basically means the image is rendered by Unreal Engine 5 and has Octane render is basically one style of how the images are being rendered. And let's see how. So if you see this actually looks very photorealistic, that as if a photographer clicked this particular photo.
I'm street photographer.
No, have no time.
So these end parameters like photorealistic, 8K, 4K, Ultra HD, all these help in how the image should look like when it's rendered, right? So different types of words are that you want it to be more detailed, less detailed, enhanced quality, it should be rendered by Blender, right? It should be very soft. So all that you can define here. Now if you'll see, this one is a render as if an Octane render, which is one type of render, rendered this particular image, right? So let's try one more thing, okay, with photorealistic effect. We'll put imagine. Let's imagine photorealistic image of vibrant roses taken on Sony A7 Alpha 7 3 camera with 35mm natural sunlight. So here we have defined the lighting, the camera and the lens, the subject that is vibrant roses, and photorealistic image, that is, okay, some photographer has actually clicked this image, right? So let's see what Midjourney gives us. So now, if you see, this image actually looks like an image from some garden where there are roses, right? And it feels like some photographer has actually clicked this image, right? So this was all about different extra parameters that you can add in your prompt. Now would you ask that, Abhinav, how should I know all these styles? I have no degree in art and all of that. So I have some cool hacks for you. Number one is the Midjourney website itself, right? So once you go to the Midjourney website, you can click on explore, and this is where you'll find a lot of art, right? Suppose if you see this image, you'll see the prompt as well. It'll be like cinematic style, the art style we defined, or suspenseful scene. Okay, this is what we want. Showing the Pope security team conducting the intense training exercise, demonstrating the readiness to defend the central figure against any potential threats. Hyper detail, the parameter that we talked about in the last, 8K and hyper realistic. Now, suppose you want to generate the same image again, right? You click on three dots, you click on copy, and you click on prompt. So now what this will do is it will copy the full prompt. So if you want to see the difference, instead of Pope security team, let's write Donald Trump's security team. This is how you would be able to break down different prompts, see what each words have an effect, and figure out different inspirations. If we browse more, like suppose this one, it's a beautiful lady smiling with all those, a brief description, ultra realistic anime style, cyberpunk, all of that, right? So this is where you'll get to know a lot of styles and different parameters. Suppose if you see this Coca-Cola bottle, right? Commercial photography, what kind of medium or style should be there? A can of Coca-Cola. Cola according to Maya patterns. This is basically a brief description of the subject. A forest island background. This is the environment, right? Now you know that, okay, Maya patterns are these kind of patterns. So what you can do is you can use the same prompt, basically click on copy, click on prompt, and if you see, okay, see this image, right? Donald Trump in this almost the same kind of image that we generated. And here we'll know that, okay, this is a Coca-Cola can. Instead of can of Coca-Cola, let's do a pastel shirt, right? According to Maya patterns, hanging on a tree, right? So it's the same prompt. We know the vibe that, okay, we want a forest island vibe, patterns, Maya patterns on the shirt, and it should be a commercial photography. Similarly, you can search a lot of stuff on Midjourney as well. Say I want to search for Virat Kohli, right? Now it will show all the images of Virat Kohli that have been generated, right? So if you see the prompt, it's photo of Virat Kohli looks sharp in a cricket kit, right? And so now you can see all the images related to Virat Kohli. Similarly, if you search for, say, Amitabh Bachchan, you'll be able to see all the images generated for Amitabh Bachchan as well, right? So you can just see a particular style and try and replicate that. Suppose if you want to see people like some amazing dresses, inspiration people wore at Met Gala, and you'll be able to see all of those as well. Like suppose this image, right? Met Gala in 2150 here. So now if you see this dress of Met Gala, it's MF Doom at the Met Gala. Theme is flamboyantly dressed heartthrob military dictator. So now you know, okay, this heartthrob military dictator gives this kind of vibe. So this was one resource which you can use extensively to try new stuff out. Similarly, if we see this, okay, this is the pattern, right? The Maya pattern that we wanted, it's hanging by a thread on a tree and it has a forest island background. Super cool, right? This ideally brands can use for their inspiration for their product photography as well, right? Next is another resource is called WikiArt. You go to this website, all the links will be pasted in the description and we'll give a document as well. So this basically shows all the different art forms that exist, right? So there's a confessional art. Okay, when you click on the confessional art, you'll be able to see what kind of art does confessional art looks like. Now, if you see there's a new pop-up, right? Neo pop art, right? Now, if you click on this, you can get to see, okay, what does neo pop art look like? Now you can use the same keyword, neo pop art, and add it to your prompt. Let's try a neo pop art prompt. In this particular style, this Indian Metro will write neo pop art style. And let's see what Midjourney has to give. So these are the different kind of styles. There are a bunch of styles, modern art, naturalism. You can explore and learn more about artworks. Now, this is one of the coolest resource I have found on the internet. Let's see how the neo pop art style looks like as well. So now if you see, the trains have a very neo poppy artwork on the trains, right? If you choose another, suppose say Gothic style, you will be able to see a Gothic style kind of art as well. This actually looks like if trains were repainted in G20. Now if you see this prompt, this gives the Gothic architecture or art style to the trains, to the metros that we have, right? So the resource is this particular sheet, right? If you click on characters, you would be able to see all the artists and all the artists and what kind of art that they create, right? So the prompt will be character by Isao Andrews, rough charcoals by Isao Andrews, pencil character sketch by Isao Andrews, a character concept art by Isao Andrews. So Isao Andrews art styles are like this, right? If you see Louis Van Barley, the art styles are like this. And similarly, if you see Simon Bisley, the artwork styles are like this. So this is how you can go through. And if you want some retro kind of stuff, Enoch Bowles created this kind of an art. So we'll be like, let's try this, okay? We want, imagine a man in retro dress sitting on a chair, character by Enoch Bowles. And all these art styles have a Wikipedia page as well, so you understand what kind of artwork were these artists interested in. Now let's see what Midjourney has to give, right? Similarly, there are different kind of landscape artists as well, right? Suppose you want this kind of a landscape, you can use this artist name. If you want this kind of landscapes, you can use that particular artist. And similarly, this sheet has a bunch of comic and cartoon artists as well. If you want to create some cartoons or animes or whatever, like this kind of stuff, all the artist names are here as well. These are some miscellaneous artists, right? And then we have different artists who are painters. So what kind of different paintings look like? Suppose you want to create this kind of painting, you should use Jan van Eyck's name, right? And Niji will come later. What Niji basically means, you want it to look like an anime, right? If you want to see how different sci-fi artists work, so this will be inspiration for sci-fi artists. Similarly, we have different kind of creatures, artists who created creatures, and we have mediums as well. Like we want chalk, we want charcoal, we want colored pencil, we want crayon, we want doodles, digital. So this is a great resource to learn about a bunch of different parameters that we explored in this tutorial. Like suppose we want an engraved, right? So this, if you see, is an engraved thing. We want something graffiti, right? So this is like a graffiti, right? So graffiti art of a woman, graffiti art of a forest. So this is how you can use these particular styles. There are different time periods as well. How would an image look in ancient Greek, Baroque, Cold War? Print media, character sheet, how an engineering diagram. This is what all the medium should talk about. Like it should look like a map, it should look like a manuscript. These are a bunch of styles again, the cyberpunk, fantasy punk, gamer punk, right? All the images, you can see how the images will look like. And these are different games, right? Like if suppose you want a shot from a particular game. Now we generated that image in Enoch Bowles style. So this is how the image looked like. This is actually if Enoch made this particular artwork, right? So this was about it from the medium level. Now let's move on to the hard level of generating prompts. In this hard level, we'll be exploring different parameters and different cool advanced stuff that you can do. But if you have carried along till medium, you know how to write a good prompt, right? Before entering the hard part, let's try and generate one prompt utilizing whatever we have learned, right? So generally humans attend concerts. What if dogs also attended concerts, right? So let's create an image where a dog takes a selfie at a concert, at a music concert. Now let's add variables to it. Okay, I want a high angle shot because it's like this, right? So high angle view. So there's an art form called as anthropomorphic. I would like to use that as well, right? Defining the style anthropomorphic, right? Now we'll be like a dog wearing purple more details to the character. Purple hoodie and sunglasses takes a smiling selfie at a musical concert, right? And we'll be like, give more aesthetic details to it, street fashion, and we'll be like ultra wide shot, and then we can define the mood. It should be the lighting, it should be daylight lighting, it should be sunny, and we can also then add our other prompts, which is hyper realistic, highly detailed, bokeh shot, and that's it. Let's see what Midjourney gives. This image looks so cool, bro. Now if you see, this is a dog wearing a purple hoodie actually taking a selfie in a music concert, right? So in this prompt, we used all the concepts that we learned in the medium level. Now let's move on to the hard level. Okay, now we'll be talking about the hard level of prompting in Midjourney. This is basically adding more technical stuff like playing with the aspect ratios, playing with negative prompts, playing with the seed, playing with chaos. So these are on the more technical side. So let's dive into it. We'll be exploring negative prompt with an example, right? So we created this gothic art style train thing, right? So we have written the same prompt and we have added hyphen no. And here we'll add the keywords of things that we don't want. So we don't want trees, we don't want nature, we don't want greenery, we don't want plants as well, right? So let's see what Midjourney gives us. This is no command is a very interesting way to manipulate images or manipulate things that you don't want. So if you see in this image, now Midjourney has somewhat removed most of the trees and plants from the image, right? There are some trees, we need to define it better, but this is what Midjourney has done to remove, right? Let's go one iteration further and let's remove buildings as well, right? So we'll be like this, image, prompt, garden, skyscrapers, buildings, homes. Now if you see, Midjourney removed all the greenery part, garden, skyscraper, building, homes from the prompt. So it gave this inside view of how a metro would look like. So this was all about negative prompting or using the hyphen no command. Next up we have is prompt and the image weights, how you can have more control and customization power over your prompts. So let's explore that. So now let's talk about the second parameter called as prompt weights. Prompt weight help in emphasizing or de-emphasizing certain parts of the prompt when Midjourney is generating an image. So suppose I have a prompt, say /imagine this only, right? Aerial shot of futuristic Indian metro in Delhi, right? Now I want futuristic to be more emphasized, that I want a really futuristic image, right? You need to add 2 colons and add a number to it, say 2, right? This will basically give more emphasis to futuristic word when we generate this prompt. Let's see what happens. So if you write a normal prompt, all the images start with a default emphasis of 1, and then we give, suppose now here I give an emphasis of 2, so futuristic just took over and everything is more futuristic now. Now let's do one more thing, right? So instead of this, we'll write futuristic 3 and say metro to be 2, right? Let's see what happens. And in this, the relative weights matter, not absolute. So 3:2 will be equivalent of 6:6:4 as well, right? So now if you see the image, it's emphasizing futuristic and it's emphasizing metro as well, right? So if you see these futuristic cars and futuristic metro. So this is how you can define weights to a particular phrase or a word that you want emphasis on, and Midjourney will give more emphasis to that particular thing. Let's try it with some other examples as well, right? So here, let's use this prompt, imagine, and I want Maya patterns to be more prevalent. Let's see what it gives. Now we have done with the no command. Let's explore what multi-prompt is, right? So multi-prompt basically helps Midjourney understand that, okay, there are 2 different concepts rather than one concept, and this separator allows us to give relative importance to a particular part of the prompt, right? So to use multi-prompt, we use a separator called as double colons, and adding a double colon to Midjourney prompt indicates that it should consider that particular part of the prompt separately, right? So for example, I choose prompt as cricket bat, right? So let's see what does this give. Now similarly, I'll choose a prompt as cricket double colon bat. Now what this will do is, the first prompt uses cricket bat as one word, but the second prompt gives cricket more preference, like over the word bat, right? So you'll see the difference. This is, say, a random cricket bat that Midjourney has generated, right? Here cricket bat is considered at one thought, and now here cricket and bat are considered different thoughts, right? Now we'll introduce a concept of weights. That what does weights mean? So write prompt as cricket bat was a single thought. I'll show you. Is a single thought, right? Cricket double colon bat is two different thoughts but same weightage. Basically, both have same emphasis, but same emphasis. Similarly, if I do this, these are two different thoughts, but cricket has more emphasis, 2x more, right? So, and now let's try this third prompt. So imagine cricket to bat. This will basically mean that the word cricket has twice more emphasis than the word bat. So if you see, cricket here has more prevalence. Let's explore an example of multi-prompt and prompt weights again. So let's try green trees. So green trees. So now this green trees is a single thought, right? It's basically a single concept that I want to make. Let's try. I want now Midjourney to understand green and trees as two different concepts. So green double colon trees. Now these green and trees are two different concepts, but they have same emphasis. So now it will consider green different and trees different. Now similarly, I want to do green double colon to trees. Here it will give twice x emphasis on green rather than trees, right? So let's see what the three outputs are. So this is our output for green trees, which Midjourney has given. Now here, green has more prevalence, like basically green and trees have same emphasis, but they're different concepts. So every tree that you see is green in color. Now here, if you see, green has more prevalence over the tree. So they might not be as close as tree structure, like this looks like a mushroom, but they are green in color. So this is how you use multi-prompts and prompts weight. So till now we have covered how to use the no command, the negative prompting, the multi-prompt and the image weights. Now next, let's cover aspect ratios. So the images that you see in Midjourney are 1:1, but we might have different needs of different image ratios as well, right? So let's try different ratios. So suppose this image, right, I want it to be along, suppose say Instagram story size. So what I'll do is, imagine I'll add the same prompt, and to add an aspect ratio, we'll write -AR and then give a space and then add a number. Say I want it to be a Instagram story style, right? So it will be 9. 9 should be the width and 16. So basically 9:16 is equivalent of width ratio height. So now it will generate an image in this ratio. Similarly, if I want the same image in ratio of landscape, I'll do 16:9. So there are a bunch of ratios that work in Midjourney. Like some standard ones are 4:5, 2:3, 4:7, 1:1, 5:4, 3:2, 7:4, 9:16, 16:9. You can just search for aspect ratios on Google and you will find a lot of different aspect ratios. Now, if you see, this is the image where we generated in a vertical format, which is 9:16, right? And this is an image which we generated in a landscape format, which is 16:9. Now, I'll show you one more thing, okay? This we talked about in the start where we wanted to show a full body shot, right? / imagine this, and I write full body shot here, full body shot. So now, since the image is long, it will try to include the lower body of Tom Cruise as well, right? So this is how aspect ratio is super helpful in manipulating different images. Now, if you do an upscale, you can pan towards left, pan towards right, whatever concepts that we explored in the basic part of the tutorial, right? Let's see what full body shot looks like. So this is how, if you see, the full body shot of Tom Cruise looks like. So that's it with aspect ratios. Now let's move to an important parameter called seed. Now, why do we use seed and what is seed? You'll notice that if you use the same prompt in Midjourney, the chances are that the new result will be different from the previous result are super high. Like Midjourney will give you all the random results. So now if you want more consistency in your generations, like suppose you liked a particular style and you want to repeat that style, you would have to use a parameter called as seed, which is --s. Consider of seed number as a starting point where Midjourney starts generation, right? Suppose Midjourney is generating this image from a seed number, say 1,35,439, right? So, and this Midjourney does randomly. We won't go into the exact tech details of how this works, but think of it as a random number where the image is started to generate. Now, every time you generate an image, this random number is different. So what does fixing a seed means is that we figure out what this random number is using Midjourney, and then add this random number to the different prompts that we generate, so that Midjourney knows that, okay, this is the reference I have to use even if I'm generating a new prompt. So consider of seed as a landmark, right? So this is the landmark I want to use for whatever prompts I generate for this particular thing, right? Let's start with seed. So now let's use the first photo of Tom Cruise as an example, right? I have upscaled the image. So how do I find a seed of this particular image? I'll click on add reaction and we'll search for envelope. Once you react with an envelope emoji, Midjourney will send you a seed of this particular image. You need to copy the seed, right, and add it to the next prompt. So suppose we go back here, we pick this up, right, and instead of Tom Cruise, let's use Drake. But now how do we add a seed parameter? This, and we'll write seed, and now we'll copy the seed value and add it here. So now Midjourney will use this seed, this number, this landmark as a starting point and generate this particular style, but for Drake. Let's see what Midjourney does. So what this will do is basically ensure consistency in your prompts. So suppose if you're making a game or if you are making a movie of sorts, having that seed number helps you generate consistent stuff or consistent images all across whatever prompts that you write, right? So now if you see the general aesthetic of this image and this image is more or less same, right? So this ensures that we have consistent results. So this was one method of knowing a particular seed. What we can also do is we can assign a random number as a seed to it. Say instead of this, I use 172333. So now I've chosen this number as a seed, which is very random, right? So you can choose random number as seeds as well. So now Midjourney will use this number as a landmark number and generate an image for us. So now if you see, this was a random seed that we added and it generated a reference image using that seed. Now if you like the style, you can just copy the same seed again and apply it to every other prompt that you want to get the same consistent image. But ideally the prompts would be very similar. You can play around here, but the overall vibe would be more or less similar. So now that was all about seed. You can read it more on Midjourney's official guide, which I'll put it in the description. But next, let's come to the stylize command. So when you create images in Midjourney, Midjourney has its own default styling, which basically references your prompt and applies its own default styling to the prompt and generates an image for you. But the stylize parameter allows you to control how much of the default styling should be applied. Should it be very less or should it be very high, as in reference to the default styling of the art, the color, the composition, and everything, every detail that you add to the image. So we specify the style of the image using the --stylize command, and Midjourney allows stylize from 0 to 1000 for the style parameter. So what we'll do is, since we know now how to make consistent stuff, let's make an image, add a prompt, define a seed to it, and see what it looks like with different seed values. Say I want futuristic mushroom, right? We'll write seed to be 101 and we'll write stylize to be 0. Similarly, here we'll write stylize to be 50. Incrementally show you how does stylize look. 50, 100, let's see. Let's add 250. Let's add 500 and let's add 750. So now let's add a final stylize 1000 as well, and then we'll compare how stylize affects the whole prompt, right? So now if you see, this was a futuristic mushroom with 0 stylization. This was a futuristic mushroom with a stylize of 50. Like there's a significant more stylization added to it. This was with 100, like it's more, there's more detail to it. This is more artistic. If you see, this is 250, then this is 500, like this is absolutely some insane styling going on. This is 750, this is actually very varied and weird. And then this is styling 1000. So if you saw that 0 was a plain mushroom, very default kind of styling, and 1000 was this futuristic, ultra detailed, and 100 different things going on in a particular thing. So this is how stylize works. Next is a chaos command. So right now Midjourney generates 4 images, right? 1, 2, 3, and 4. So chaos commands affects how much variation should be there in all the 4 images, right? So if the value is high, then it will produce crazier and very wild variations. If the value is lower, it will be more consistent, reliable, and repeatable, right? And the value is generally from 0 to 100. The default chaos value is 0. So let's try it in this mushroom itself. A futuristic mushroom where we write chaos as 0. Similarly, a futuristic mushroom where we write chaos as 100. Now let's see what Midjourney has to give. So this is a chaos with 0 chaos. Like images the variations would look more or less similar, but this is a higher chaos. Like you see the randomness, right? Like it just forgot the subject, right? It just, not just the art style, chaos parameter changed the subject as well. Like it affected the composition, the perspectives, the mediums, the detailing, everything. So this is how chaos parameters work, right? And the last thing we are going to explore is the repeat command. So now we'll be exploring repeat command. Suppose for this particular thing, I want this thing only, but I want it to run 5 times so that I can see close to 20 variations, right? So I'll click on imagine, put this, I'll remove the seed because I don't need it. What I'll do is I'll do -- repeat 5. So now what Midjourney will do, Midjourney will use the same prompt and repeat it 5 different times to generate 4 images every time. So right now it's asking that, okay, you want to imagine 5 prompts of this? I'm like, yes. So now I'll be getting 5 results of the same prompt. So this helps me if I want to experiment more, see more variations. And yeah, now if you see on the screen, we have the same prompt running different times to show different variations and results. This you can play with chaos, play with stylize to see how everything looks like and choose whatever you like. Now if you see, Midjourney repeated the same command 5 times using this repeat option and has given me like 20 variations to choose from. So I can choose whatever I like and use it for my reference. So this was all about the hard level of learning Midjourney. This was much more technical. So in easy level, we covered a much more basics of Midjourney, how to install, what does a basic prompt look like. In medium, we covered a lot of different variables that help in making of a prompt. And in the hard level, we talked about how to use different variation parameters. So feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Next, we'll be talking about how to do some cool stuff in Midjourney. First, let's talk about scaling, right? So now I suppose I really like this U1 image, right? And let's see what happens. Now, if you see, this is a pretty high quality version of this image. But now if you want to scale it more to have that greater detail. So there's a site called Waifu2x, right? Waifu2x, where you can scale the image to a much larger resolution. So what you need to do is save the image. You go here on Waifu2x, you click on choose file, you select the image, right? The style should be photo itself, it should be highest, and you can do 2x, PNG, I'm not a robot, and you click on convert, right? And let's wait for a much more scaled image, right? If you see the scale here, the resolution here, and the resolution here. So this image is a 2x of what we generated with Midjourney, right? We can do 4x as well. We just need to click on 4x and choose a file. Say I again choose this file. Model is can be art scan only. Then denoise low. Upscaling I want it to be 4x, right? Tiling 256. Then and just click on start.
A few moments later.
If you see, these are the small tiles that are being generated. Our 4x high quality, high definition image is generated. So this is the site that you can use to scale your images. Now let's come to the second cool hack that we want to do. It's called face swap. Face swap essentially means if you want to swap someone's face with someone else's face, right? To install Insight Face, what you need to do, you need to go to Google, search for Insight Face Discord, click on the first link, right? It will ask you to choose a server, you choose as your design lab, and click on continue, click on authorize, I'm a human, and there you go. We have Insight Face Swap, our face swapping bot inside the server. So we generated this particular image. So let's use the Tom Cruise image itself, right? So we generated this image, right? Now let's use say Shah Rukh Khan's face to replace Tom Cruise face. So now when you search for a Shah Rukh Khan face, you click on large to get a good high quality image. So let's choose this image, right? I'll click on save image, go to desktop and click on save, right? What I need to do is I need to press / and I need to use a save ID command, right? Save ID basically asks you to upload an image, right? So I'll click on upload. I'll choose Shah Rukh's face and put the ID name as Shah Rukh, right? Or let's do it SRK. Now my face is set. Like if you see this command ID name SRK is created. Now what I'll do is I'll do list ID. This basically shows all the faces that are currently in the system. So we have the ID name SRK, right? So we'll put command set ID. Set ID is basically to tell Insight Face Swap that okay, this is the face we're going to use. I write SRK here, and now the current face that I'm using is SRK's face. So what I'll do is I'll go back to the image that I want to change the face with. I'll left click on apps and click on in swapper. Now let's wait for Midjourney to change the face, and this is where Midjourney has swapped the face of Shah Rukh Khan with Tom Cruise face. Let's try on other photos as well. I want to get it in this particular photo. Let's generate a high scaled image, right click on apps and click on upscaler. And if you see, we have a fair similar face of Shah Rukh Khan in this particular image. So if you want to add more faces, just click on /save ID, upload the image, give it a name, then add a command set ID, and just right click and choose the InSwapper app to replace the face. So this is how you face swap. Now let's try another cool command called blend. So now what does blend command mean? Blend command means that it will combine 2 or more images and create something unique, right? So let's do this. Let's take this mushroom and combine it with this New Delhi metro train, right? I'll quickly open this in browser and save this image. Similarly, I'll quickly open this train image and save this image. Now what I'll do is I need to do /blend. I need to choose 2 images. I'll go pick one image. This is the mushroom image, and I'll pick another image that is the train image, and just click on enter. Now we'll be able to see a blend of these 2 images. Let's see what Midjourney has in store for us. So now if you see, Midjourney used this aesthetic, the poppy aesthetic gothic art style, and added it to our mushrooms, and we have a mushroom kind of train station. Isn't that cool, right? So this is how you use the blend command. Now I'll show you something interesting, okay? Let's go to midjourney.com, right? And say, I don't know what, let's just save this image, right? I'll save this image. Now I want to know how can I generate these kind of images, and suppose if this prompt wasn't visible, right? So what I'll do is Midjourney gives an interesting option called describe. So described, it basically reads the image and suggests different prompts that you can use to generate that particular kind of an image. And it works on any image, right? So if I choose describe, I need to select an image. I'll do this. I'll select the image. So I'll select the image that I saved. Right, this was the image, right? And click on enter, and now Midjourney gave me all the 4 prompts that I can use to generate this kind of image. So I can choose 1, 2, 3, 4 to basically enter the prompt and generate images for all these prompts. Let's click on imagine all and see what Midjourney has in store for us. This command you can also use to learn how different images are being generated and learn about different styles and variables that Midjourney is using to create a particular image. Now if you see, similar kind of images are generated from all the prompts that Midjourney says. So suppose small boat on the ocean, this is a subject. Surrealistic distortions, that's the art style. Tim Doyle probably will be the artist's name. Detailed atmospheric portraits, some attributes of this. Ilya Mashkov might be an artist. Trapped emotion depicted, this is the mood kind of a thing. Dark sky blue and dark orange, the colors and light filled scene, just depicting in general scene, right? So if you see, all the prompts have generated almost similar kind of images. So this is how you know a prompt of a particular image. Now suppose you would say that I like an image, but I want to generate another image, but it should follow the same style as this particular image A, right? So suppose let's go to another inspiration website called ArtStation, right? So just ArtStation folks, this is a very cool inspiration website. A lot of artwork out there. You can use this to figure out your prompts and stuff as well, right? So what I'll do is, suppose say I like this kind of aesthetic a lot. What I'll do is I'll click on save image and save it on my desktop. Go to my Discord and basically click on this, upload a file and add that particular image here, right? So now I want to create a skyscraper scene, but in this particular aesthetic. So what I'll do is I'll do imagine, right click on the image, click on copy link. So I'll click on copy link. So now what Midjourney will do, Midjourney will use this image as a reference image, and now I'll write my prompt, skyscrapers in a city. So now what Midjourney will do, Midjourney will use this image as a reference and apply the same styles and everything to the prompt that I have chosen, right? So let's see what Midjourney gives. So now if you see, Midjourney almost created the similar style that I wanted from this reference image. Super cool, right? So this is also you all can try. Just go to any website like Pinterest, ArtStation, get a reference image, add in your prompt, and boom. Next, let's learn how to make anime with Midjourney, right? So to make an anime, you need to use --niji command, right? So let's say boy riding a bicycle in India, and I'll put up a command says //niji. Now what will happen is this particular command or this particular generation will be generated as if it was an anime. Now on top of it, you can define more variables, more parameters that we learned about in the medium part and the basic part of the tutorial, right? Let's see what we get. So now if you see, Midjourney has created anime version of this particular image. Now you can define the artist, the Ghibli style or Ghibli style, and see what anime style gives, right? So the last part of cool stuff. Now everyone has a business, everyone wants to do a startup, but you don't know how to make a logo. I'll help you out how you can make a logo with Midjourney, right? Just write imagine and be like a flat logo for a coffee brand, white background, startup, minimal. So now if you see, I have a coffee brand logo, but now you would ask, how should I use this PNG or JPG? I have a quick hack for you where you can convert these kind of images in SVG, and basically you can infinitely scale them, make some changes and use these logos, right? So suppose generate, I like the first one. I want to generate much more high quality version, and let's save this image, and I will save this image. Once I've saved this image, you need to go to this website called vectorizer.ai. Click on this, and now you got to upload your logo. Let's quickly upload our logo. This is uploading, processing. This is the result that this vectorizer again. I can choose the format here. I want it to be in SVG format. I want this, and you can skip all of this and click on download. And now you would see that I have a SVG version of this logo. Now I can put it in my code or put it in Illustrator file and edit anything that I don't like, right? So that's a wrap of whatever cool stuff that you can do in Midjourney. There are a lot of other things that you can do, but for this tutorial, I wanted to limit it to these these parts only. So I'll quickly cover how we have been using Midjourney at our company, right? We recently made this game called Overpowered. This is like I'm showcasing you the real use case of Midjourney. All the images that you see here are generated using Midjourney. I'll show you some files as well, right? So these images are generated using Midjourney. If you see these buttons have been referenced from Midjourney. This game board that you see is made from Midjourney, and these cards, the sides of the cards, the manas and every crystals that you see are generated from Midjourney. These character images have been also generated from Midjourney itself. To maintain consistency, we used seed, right? The seed parameters a lot. And to ensure that we get proper outputs, we did some post editing in Photoshop, which is very important if you want some images of your liking, right? So I'll show you some quick images. So these were the card game backgrounds that we generated. These were very low card games background that we generated. These were very low quality, so we had to do a lot of scaling on it. These are the card backs and the card fronts that we generated. This was the card game board that we generated. Even the game icons, the in-game icons have been generated from Midjourney and scaled, right? And this was the lower part of the image, and we manipulated it with the different background to make it look like that game image, right? So this is how we have generated a lot of stuff in the game. So one thing you need to ensure that you do a lot of post editing in Photoshop, because it's necessary, because there are a lot of inaccuracies in the generation. So you need to fix those to get the right output. Then we have been using a lot of Midjourney for landing page assets. So recently we created a Yas website where we have a TV animation on the top. So the TV that we created, the retro TV, is created using Midjourney, right? So there are a bunch of use cases. Similarly, if you see a bunch of thumbnails that we have been creating, we have created those thumbnails using characters that we generated in Midjourney. So Midjourney has been a game changer. Even at 100x, if you see all the session covers, all the event covers have a very specific image, right? So most of the assets in our videos are generated using Midjourney. How can you use it at your workplace? You just need to buy a subscription, and you should start playing around with Midjourney. Midjourney is all about experimentation. You need to get the right inspirations, play it right, prompt it right, experiment a lot, and you'll get your outputs. Now, the last section which everyone has been waiting for is some insane resources of Midjourney. First of all, I'll show you list of people that you can follow on Twitter. So first up is Nick. Nick is a great prompter. He has been posting great tutorials on how to use Midjourney and how to use certain kinds of images, right? Next up is Julie. Julie is also posting a lot of interesting things. She's making some AI movies and stuff. So you should give her a follow as well. Next up is Linus. Linus puts out a lot of tutorials in terms of AI prompting and Midjourney. Then next is Chris. She does a lot of crazy experiments in AI. You should check her work out, right? She'll give you prompts, she'll give you guides, she'll give you tutorials on how to work with Midjourney. Then another one, we have Oscar. Oscar does a lot of stuff in anime. So if you're really curious about how to generate anime stuff, you can follow Oscar, right? Then we have another called Phil. So Phil also does a lot of cool dystopian, that kind of stuff in Midjourney, these kind of shoes and also. Then we have Pierrick. Pierrick also does some cool experiments in Midjourney. You should definitely give him a follow. Then we have Tech Hala, who also does a lot of generates cool images in Midjourney. So these were the Twitter accounts that you should follow. Next, if you want to learn more about prompting, so there's a very cool website called the New Computer Science, which has a lot of guidelines about how to write a prompt. So you can go through this prompt. This is a very nicely written prompt, and it also goes from basic to advanced if you are a reading person. Next, how to get inspiration for more prompts. So this is a website called Prompt Hero. Here you will find all kinds of prompts for different models like Stable Diffusion, Midjourney, OpenJourney, ChatGPT, everything on this particular website, right? You can even categorize using types like landscape, architecture, interior, 3D. It's like a full big repository of prompts, right? Next, this I think is the best thing you'll find over the internet. So this is called Prompter. Now, when you go to this website, you need to click to get Prompter and click on make a copy. So this resource is insane. Like, you will actually love it. Now, if you see, this is a prompter which helps you build your prompts. So suppose my main idea is like Tom Cruise in Manyavar ethnic clothes, right? So I've written my main idea. Now, secondary subjects can be, say, skyscrapers, crowded market, and say dogs, for instance, right? Then I can assign weights, as we remember we did for the multi prompts. Now if you see, the prompter is making a prompt here, right? If I add a weight 2 to 2 here, it will add skyscraper weight 2 to it, right? Now here I can add image URLs as well, similarly assign weights to them. Do not include is basically negative command. Suppose I don't want trees, right? So there is no trees. I want parameters stylized to be 50. I want chaos to be 2, right? So this is everything is added. Now I want the aspect ratio. So this gives a list of aspect ratios as well. I want the aspect ratio to be 9:16. This gives a list of mediums as well, right? I want it to be street art style. Now different types of cameras. I want it to be a soft focus, whatever. I had microscopy camera. Then I want the lighting to be a candlelight. Then I want a color to be, say, brown. Similarly, I want a descriptor, like I want it to look like futuristic. I want another descriptor, I want it to look psychedelic. Here, there's a list of artists as well. Pablo Picasso. So you can choose whatever variable you want. I want Doctor Strange. And the game, I want Assassin's Creed. Depth of field, you want full focus or focal blur. So this is the prompt that has been created, right? So you don't have to remember everything. You can just use this particular sheet to choose your prompts and make your own prompts easily. So this is an insane resource, right? Similarly, I have another repository of Midjourney artists. So these are the Midjourney artists and these are samples of their work. So this particular list is list of approximately 7 to 8,000. Actually, it's 10,000 artists who are listed here. So you can browse through them and see what kind of style you want to make. The last resource is also super cool. It's also a prompt builder. Again, that was on Google Sheet. This is on a website. You can write Will Smith doing puja in Ganesh Chaturthi. Here you can choose that I don't want, say, crowd. Then image link, whatever aspect ratio you want, say 1:1. Chaos you want 5. Image weight you want 1. Quality you want 5. Seed number, say random. Then if you see, the prompt is getting built here, right? I want stylized to be 500. And then here I'll see a preview of what kind of effect. Suppose I want a Bronze Age. Now Bronze Age is I want Cretaceous period. If you click on it, it selects. If you unclick it, it's deselects, right? I want Cold Era as well. I want Middle Ages. Then I can choose theme. I want the theme to be animation, right? I want to choose art to be 3D model. Characters, I want it to be a demon, right? I want demon. And for photography, I want it to be an architectural photo. Now what you need to do is just click on copy, paste it in Midjourney, and that's it. Those are all the resources that I use. By the way, you can create all these Midjourney prompts using ChatGPT as well, but we'll cover that in another video. Quick ending note, folks. Midjourney is a game of playing and experimentation. Think of it as if you are playing a game of GTA, where you try out different things and then eventually you figure out new stuff. That's it from this video. A fun fact, this video took us a total of 48 hours to shoot and the video footage is close to 7 hours long. So hit that subscribe button, show some love, and see you in another video.